First action I would like to see this government take is the fact that they promised to appoint a special representative, and we're still waiting a year and a half for that representative. I mean, 1.5, almost 4% of the population of Canada, and it's that difficult to find someone. I have a hard time believing that. Just so from what we heard, some of the important things that have to be done. One is we have to educate the educators also on Islamophobia and what it means. Go into any of the classrooms in the big cities in Canada, and there are Muslim kids there who sometimes feel alienated. We went to a school where we spoke to about 25, 30 young, I'd say young girls and boys, and most of them had had experiences of Islamophobia. The government needs to take a stand. The government needs to, you can enact all kinds of legislation you want, but unless, and put forward legislation, but unless you act upon it, it's just a useless piece of paper. So we have to have, the government has to maybe even look for a definition of Islamophobia. It's something that we in the committee, we are struggling with. Because we were told that, when you talk about a phobia, that means fear of something. So Islamophobia is someone who has a fear of Muslims, but that does not tell you the story of how that fear reflects on Muslims, on how they are treated because somebody is afraid of them. So now we're struggling that instead of calling our study Islamophobia, we're looking at anti-Muslim hatred. Was it anti-Muslim violence? We're just, within ourselves, we're kind of talking. And this is all from just hearing from people and their experiences and what they told us. So I think the government, it has to be the federal government, the provincial government, they all have to step in. And I remember I grew up in a convent school in Pakistan. And when we went to school once a week, we used to have what they used to call a moral lesson, where you sat and discussed different issues. Maybe it's some time for us to have something like that in the classrooms once a week, once a month, because we're seeing Islamophobic incidents, we're seeing anti-Semitism is on a rise, we're seeing Black racism is on the rise. So there's issues there which need to be confronted.